Ring the bell.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slam Society, and welcome to our review show here of AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door 2024. UBS Arena, Elmont, New York, 11,477 fans. I'm one of your hosts, Karlifornia. This is Jooseyboy. Jooseyboy, thank you for taking the time for this review out of your busy schedule of watching children's cartoons.
Yep, absolutely. It's difficult to find the time, to make, but somehow I managed to pull it off. Anyway.
Yeah, I know you've got
And-
a lot of American Dad to keep up with, and
honestly, though, you do need to be able to carve out large blocks of time to get through these shows. These are marathon wrestling events, bro. I mean, every single time AEW has a pay-per-view, I find myself by the end of it just feeling like, okay, if I don't watch wrestling for another 3 months, I'd be okay with that, because it's just so much overload,
right,
in my opinion, at least.
including the pre-show. 5.5 hours. 5.5 hours. First half an hour thing of the pre-show is just bullshit, just them talking, But the pre-show had 5 matches.
Yeah.
5 matches, dude.
I didn't watch the pre-show.
I watched some of it, okay? Not going to talk too much about it before we kick on with the actual show. So the first match was a singles match with Serpentico against Kyle Fletcher. I did not watch this. Why would anyone want to watch that? Sorry.
Why is Kyle Fletcher wrestling on the pre-show when he's going to be in a ladder match?
He wasn't in the
later
ladder
on?
match. He wasn't.
Oh, that's right. He's so bland, I got him confused with Phantasmo. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
so I did not watch this match. I thought Kyle Fletcher was the Ring of Honor Pure Champion. Isn't
Dunno.
he?
Maybe he lost it.
RH Pure title. Let's have a look. I just need to know. Okay. No, Wheeler Yuta won it back, apparently. Okay.
Oh, joy. So
After
good,
this,
man.
bro.
Dude, are you sorry you missed that match? Wheeler Yuta winning the title back? Wow.
Next matchup was a 4-way tag team match. Kyle O'Reilly, Tomohiro Ishii against Gabe Kidd and Roderick Strong, with Gato, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett ringside, against Private Party with Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn at ringside, against the Kings of the Black Throne, Brody King and Malachi Black.
Oh,
I did
God.
not watch this match, but it went 13 minutes. And,
But everything every single time they put on a match, bro, it's got to be like a small house party worth of people around the ring. It's just everything's so overbooked. Like, why does this need to be on the pre-show? Fuck.
look,
Want...
I'll get to that in a second, okay? Like, I have my I have certain thoughts on these things, but I'll get to it in a second. That went 8 minutes 39 seconds, apparently. Okay, so let's move forward again. There was one match I wanted to watch. Actually, it was 2 matches I wanted to watch on the pre-show here. Tam Nakano from Stardom teaming with Willow Nightingale, taking on Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe, who's also from Stardom. Don't have anything real to say here. I just want to let you know that I did watch the match, and I thought that the 2 Japanese ladies were quite good. Moving forward. Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament quarterfinal match. Saraya taking on Mariah May. Of course I'm watching this one. Of course I am. Because when Mariah May comes out, my heart rate goes up, bro. One thing I have always thought, AEW fans have never accepted Saraya, because I reckon I know what it is. Because she uses Botox and lip fillers, and they don't like girls who look like divas. That's just me. That's why I reckon wrestling fans have never given Dana Brooke a chance.
Nah, you know what? Let's be more honest about that when it comes to Saraya. The reason they don't like her is because she had the relationship with Alberto Del Rio. She had that sex tape come out, which came out without her permission, by the way. And because of things like that, some of these fans feel like they can judge her personal life as if they know her, because of certain things that she tweeted about WWE or tweeted about this or that. When people forget that she was 20 when she was signed to NXT and 21 when she was on the main roster, and she's gone through a lot. I think people just think that they have this perception of her as kind of, fucking up her own career and all this shit. And I just think it's bullshit. I think she's making money in AEW, like good for her.
Yeah.
But the fact that one thing I want to comment on before you move on is it boggles my mind that they would have the women's final for the Owen Hart Foundation.
It's a quarterfinal match.
Quarterfinal, I'm sorry, that they wouldn't have that on the pay-per-view when they had 14 matches on the main card, and only 2 of those were women's matches. And we'll get to that as we go along. But again, it doesn't make any sense to me. Continue.
So she's making bulk coin, but I have a feeling Tony won't renew her contract because it's clear that she hasn't really had that much of an effect on ratings or anything like that. But then again, I don't think anyone has.
Who's been given a chance really to have an impact on ratings?
Dunno. Mariah May got the win, which was a nice surprise. One of the very few surprises on this show. The main event of 0 Hour, which I did not watch, Mystico from CMLL, teaming with the Lucha Brothers, took on Los oh my god, in Gobbler Blazed. I could never say that fucking word. It's the Japan version of the group. Takahashi, Titan, and Yota Tsuji. And the Mexican lads won. So there we go. One for CMLL. Let's get on with the main show here, Juicy Boy. The opening matchup, MJF taking on Hechicero.
Okay.
Take it away.
This was probably the best match on the show in terms of delivering perfectly what it was meant to deliver. It's a comeback match on pay-per-view for MJF here. He's going up against this Lucha Libre that's kind of a bit more obscure, probably less known to a lot of fans. Hechichero's got good size. He knows how to use some of that charisma and play to the audience. Him and MJF worked this match knowing that they were the opener, knowing that they were there to get everyone into a fun mood, to start the pay-per-view off with a fun vibe. They did a number of creative little spots throughout this thing that I really enjoyed. I thought Hechicero is an example of someone that AEW should think about keeping around, as opposed to a lot of these smaller, less experienced Lucha Libre guys that you often see on Dynamite. Hechicero, you could tell he had the experience, and he was really, I don't know, I just felt like this match worked. There was something about the way that they figured out a way to work the Lucha Libre stuff from Hechicero in a way that really made sense, especially with him working on MJF's arm and everything like that. MJF, of course, gets the hometown win. I'd probably give the match a B+, because it was nothing crazy. I just thought that it really did its job on the card exceptionally well. I was pleasantly surprised to see this match open. I actually think that was a smart placement on the card, so I'm going to credit Tony Khan with that one there.
I disagree with that, and I'll get to that later.
Interesting.
So you said that you thought it was best match on the show. According to cagematch.net, out of 84 votes, we have 5.79 out of 10 for this one. So
that's okay.
The cage match fans weren't too chuffed with it, apparently.
Yeah, they're allowed to be wrong.
Yeah, of course. I don't have a problem with it. My problem is why isn't MJF feuding with the Undisputed Kingdom? I know he kicked Adam Cole between the balls, but between the legs into his balls. But when Adam Cole and that group were like messing around with MJF, Adam Cole had a broken ankle. I don't know why he hasn't been back since to do anything about it. I don't know why Taven and Bennett are on the pre-show and they're not coming out. Roddy's on the pre-show. They're not coming out to do anything to fuck with MJF. It's almost like this big thing's been forgotten about and it doesn't fucking matter. You have a chance. You actually have a story that you put so much time into with the whole build up with the big reveal, and the fallout, the follow-up has been fuck all. I don't understand.
But the whole thing's been shit. The whole thing's been shit. I think they're trying to sweep it under the rug and move on from it.
Well, give us a fucking payoff, huh? Give us a payoff. We have had nothing with this story whatsoever. All that effort for nothing. This should have been Roddy versus MJF. This should have been Wardlow versus MJF. Forbidden Door or not, we have AEW storyline matches in this on this show that don't include people from other companies. Make it make sense, okay? This is not a Forbidden Door anymore, and I had an argument earlier with somebody about this. I'm not talking about changing the name of the show. I'm talking about the fact that 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 12 months a year, every single show has somebody from a different wrestling company wrestle on that show. I guarantee it. Maybe not guarantee it, but most of the time, one of those shows a week will have someone from a different company on there. How is it forbidden when we see it all the fucking time? It makes the pay-per-view less special. Oh, the argument is, oh, but it was Forbidden Door season, so we get to see a lot of these guys on the build-up to the show. No! The whole point is it's supposed to be special once a year. This is the only time we see these two companies clash.
Forbidden Door season.
It should be called, you know what it should be called? It should be called Welcome Mat. Okay. MJF attempts to crowd surf during his entrance. Nerds, you don't know how to crowd surf anyone. So awkward. Never been in a mosh pit at a concert in their life. Nerds. I'm sorry, I barely watched the match because I knew he was winning ahead of time. As I was aware with most of these matches. Let's move forward, Juicy Boy.
Yeah.
Here comes a cracking one. The Elite, Young Bucks, Okada taking on the Acclaimed and Hiroshi Tanahashi, who's about to go 0-3 in his career at Forbidden Door shows. I'm waiting, and I'm watching this. The moment they do something that annoys me, I will skip the rest of the match. I like Tanahashi. I think he's very charismatic. I think the Acclaimed are very stale at this point. There was a spot where they nearly pissed me off to skip to the end of the match, but Okada saved it with his stupid dancing. Okay, very good, very entertaining.
Oh, where he started mimicking the rapping.
The
guy's getting paid like millions of dollars to do this. Like, good on him.
Yeah. Got real annoyed at one stage. I know that they're heels. I get it. Matt bounces off the ropes fucking 10 times in a row just to kiss his brother.
Like, so annoying,
This is a serious wrestling match. Fucking wrestle, cunt. Why do people blow so much smoke up their ass? I skipped the match forward until I saw it was just Tanahashi and Okada in the ring. And anytime the Bucks were in the ring, I skipped forward. I did not want to watch any of their shit. I thought Tanahashi should pin Okada here, who still has not lost in AEW since being under contract, and it lead to a title match on Dynamite for the Continental title. Something different, dude. But of course, the Rainmaker ends the matchup, and the guy from New Japan gets pinned. What are your thoughts, Juicy Boy?
Yeah, D-. Pretty bad. I'll talk about the things that I like. At this point earlier on in the show, I was still kind of watching entrances, so I caught Max Caster's rap, and I have to say, the thing that did pop me about it was the verse towards the end, where there was 8 consecutive lines that all ended with the word bitch. So he was rhyming bitch with bitch, with bitch, with bitch, with bitch. He did that like 7 times to finish off the rap. I did chuckle at that. The match itself, when it first started, bro, right at the beginning, I was like, okay, it kind of feels like they're going to wrestle the match here. Kind of feels like the Bucks are slowing down a little bit. They might be going to wrestle the match. And then maybe about 5, 6 minutes in, bro, they're hitting the ropes so he can kiss his brother on the cheek. The constant double teams and just ignorance of the rules, and the referee just is letting them do whatever the fuck they want nonstop. Um, they talked about Tanahashi and Okada having this storied rivalry in Japan, and I've actually seen one of their matches before, and it is a really good match. But every time the two of those guys interacted, I felt like it made Tanahashi look weak. I felt like, I still felt like Okada wasn't really in a position to get out of second gear in this match. I don't even know if it's to do with him. It feels like the way they're positioning him, he being Okada, um, he's just not going to that next level that people know him for from his time in Japan. Um, so it just ended up turning into a mess, bro. I didn't like the way that it ended either, as you said, with the Rainmaker. The Rainmaker continues to look unimpressive since Okada's been in AEW. So I didn't like the match. That's why I gave it such a low rating. And I want to also say at this point in the show, pretty much from this match up until the ladder match, I felt like the show was just in such a lull, personally, for me. Anyway.
Okay. Owen Cup tournament. Owen Hart Cup tournament, first round match, Bryan Danielson against Shingo Takagi. I don't know how Shingo got in the tournament, but what did you think, bro?
Dude, like C minus, like it sucks to say, man. You got two great wrestlers in there, but they go out there, they have this match. It's like there's more of Bryan Danielson potentially selling like his career might be over. There's more of that shit, which makes me uncomfortable more than anything else. Um, Bryan Danielson ends up getting the win. I'm not sure that I should be surprised. I was kind of hoping that he might get caught with a quick loss here and maybe they'd send him away to actually heal up a bit more or just slow down a bit. Because I'm sick of this whole it's Daniel Bryan's last year and he's in danger with his neck. I don't want to see that. Like I don't want them doing storylines about that when, a neck injury or some concussion related injury that I just don't like it, bro. It just rubs me the wrong way seeing it every time Bryan Danielson has a big match. And as for the rest of the match itself, I felt like it was technically well executed, bro, but I'm not sure if you agree with me. Just felt bored, man. I just felt bored. It just felt like it plodded along, and then it ended with the label lock.
It wasn't even the label lock. He did
Yeah,
something else.
whatever it was. Oh, that arm catch.
Pretty much the same as like what Becky Lynch does for her submission, the disarmer, but he pulled back a little bit further than she does.
Yeah.
This is the problem I have with the Forbidden Door shows. They have these bunch of singles matches, right? And they just all kind of seem like the same fucking match, MJF's match, Danielson's match. I'm sure Zack Sabre Jr. and Orange Cassidy's match was similar. I didn't watch that match.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Moxley and Naito, the main event, like it's all like taking each other to the limit, and I don't know. I always talk about different flavors on shows and palate cleansers, and I wasn't getting that in the early goings here. So when this match was coming up, I like kind of rolled my eyes thinking like, God, like I'm going to have to sit through like another like long match.
Yeah, I felt the same.
Because this went 20 minutes and 19 seconds. Did Danielson and Takagi in this opening round match in this tournament need to go 20 fucking minutes? I don't think so. I really don't think so. That's why it gets fucking boring. Like, not everyone has to be taken to the limit. Like, can we please like just do something exciting? I don't know, something to sink my teeth into. I'm going to get into this stuff a little bit later. I've got some other rants written down, prepared, but Danielson looks like he's fallen apart. Like he's got all that tape on his back and shit. A few months ago when he had that eye patch, I'm like, what are you doing to yourself, dude? Fucking hell, let yourself heal a bit. Anyway, Takagi hits his finisher made in Japan, and it's from what I gather, a very protected finish, and Danielson kicks out of it.
Yeah, that should be in the end of the match, bro. When he hit it, I remember, sorry to interrupt. When he hit it, bro, I remember distinctly watching. I was like, okay, that should be it. He's got that bad neck. He took that bad bump on the outside from the apron. That he should be fucked now, based on the story they're telling. And then he just goes and kicks out and goes on to win after like another 10 minutes or whatever, bro. It's just too much, man. I agree with you.
It's just like, do we have to keep on like convincing ourselves that a great match is a great match because people kicked out of finishing moves? Like, we don't need to keep going down that fucking road. I know Austin and Rock did it at WrestleMania 17, which made everyone think, oh, well, we can do it fucking too. But
those
it should be seldomly utilized. Not every fucking show, every fucking pay-per-view, multiple times on the fucking show. You can't keep fucking doing it. It doesn't it makes it not mean anything after a while, man.
It's overkill, man. It's overkill.
It's overkill. Thank God we didn't get any kickouts at 1 in this show.
Oh.
Which have become quite a fucking thing to see, you know, in the last year since Ospreay and Omega did it. Anyway, Takagi kicks out of Danielson's finisher. I've seen this type of match 5,000 times, and I'm happy for all of you AEW fans out there. I'm so happy for you that you don't get sick of it, and it's just the dopamine hits that you're constantly looking for to see the repeat of the same fucking thing over and over again. Congratulations. Great stuff for you. Danielson clumsily locked in Becky Lynch's submission hold to win the match. So fucking, like, anticlimactic.
Yeah. Yep.
AEW Women's World Championship. Toni Storm defending against Stardom's Mina Shirakawa. Again, bro, I've said this before. I will say it again. They don't need to be doing title matches on Forbidden Door because it already gives away the result of the match, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe not so much with like Moxley's match because I think Naito was the former champion, wasn't he? So, you know, maybe you'd be like, oh, you never know who's going to win that because it's a New Japan belt. But when they put these AEW titles on the line in these matches, you know that they're not dropping the belt to the New Japan guy or the Stardom lady. It's just fucking clear as day. We know Takagi's not fucking going forward in the quarterfinals of the tournament. We know that's not going to happen. Like, it's just it gives away the result ahead of time. Anyway, don't want to keep harping on this stuff, but I have to. I thought Mina was fantastic. I thought it was a very good match between the two. Tony retained, as we could tell. And at least this match had a storyline, because Mariah was in Stardom and she was in a group with Mina. And so, old friend. Now she's in AEW. She's got a new friend, Tony. Now those two are clashing. Mariah's in the middle there. Okay, so at least there's some story here. And again, I had a little bit of an argument with Dark Elite Eric earlier. He's a follower of our channel. And he said, oh, you're one of those where's the story guys. Yes, I am. I am a where's the story guy, bro. Because congratulations to you that for 20 fucking years, you can sit there and watch cold wrestling matches over and over and over again. Strong style Japanese wrestling matches. Congratulations that you could just watch that and get into that. I, for one, need a little bit more than that to be interested, because I don't want to keep watching the same fucking thing over and over again for 2+ decades. You need stories. You need stories. That makes people get invested. Juicy Boy, do you have anything to add for this women's title match?
Yeah, it wasn't very good. I'm going to give it a D+. I think there's too much of this black and white, timeless stuff that's, you know, I agree with you that I like that there's a story attached to what Tony Storm is doing. It makes it more interesting than than the average match on the card. So I'm 100% in agreement with you there. But I didn't really think the match had as much heat on it as it could have, story wise. I think again, it's good that they are trying to do a little bit of storytelling with it, but I also think that it's kind of cheap having them all kiss at the end, and it's like, okay, WWE gets criticized when they do stuff like that, but it everyone loves it when Tony Khan books it, and he just happens to be booking that at a time when they've just come off the lowest rated episode of Dynamite in history, and then the week after that they didn't even get up to 800,000. So whether or not that has a correlation, I don't know, but I just personally feel like the whole thing feels half baked.
Right. I saw this on WrestlingInc.com with their usual article they put out. 3 things we hated and 3 things we loved about Forbidden Door. Right. So
I don't read them.
This writer, Angeline Fu, surname spelled Phu. I think, okay, you know what, mate? You're taking shit way too seriously, Angeline, okay? She wrote this. The distinct use of lesbian skinship in order to generate attention and consequently profit through exposure and revenue is crude and frankly insensitive entertainment meant to generate a cheap pop. It is near pornographic in its absurdity and exploitativeness because they had a 3-way kiss at the end. Mate,
simmer down.
Go watch something else then.
Simmer down.
Go fucking watch Play School or Sesame Street.
I didn't like it very much personally, but you know what? Tony Khan still should have freedom to book what he feels like. It's a private company. It's his fucking money. Even if I don't really like it or agree with it, what I do agree with is him having the freedom to kind of do something a bit more risque if that's what he fucking feels like he wants to do.
He's not telling them to kiss.
But even if
their idea, right? They wanted to add that to it. There's no way Tony Khan's saying, and yeah, at the end, I think all 3 of you should kiss. No, he's not doing that. I can't
picture him doing that. But he obviously signed off on it, is what I mean. And I think I agree with you. Yeah, like maybe you could view it in poor taste, you know, depending on your personal feelings, but to call it pornographic and to call it exploitative, I mean, that's actually really offensive because it implies that the women are just automatons being told what to do by Tony Khan, and they have no choice in the matter. As you said, it was probably their idea that they decided to do.
You can't imagine Tony being like, trying to tell them to do that. There's no way. He doesn't like confrontation, and I would say he'd be too shy to even say something like that.
Yeah, he'd be like blushing. He'd be like, and then maybe you guys could.
There's no way, you know. Like, come on, then maybe at the end, like maybe we could get. Come on, dude.
He wouldn't even be able to look at him. He'd be like this. He'd be like, and then maybe at the end you guys could. What, Tony? You just trailed off. Yeah, I kind of did.
Anyway, I didn't have a problem with it. It's not like it was something that made me go, "Oh fuck yeah, oh that was fucking hot." Like it's like, oh that's cute. Okay, let's move forward, dude.
Real one probably had a wank to it though.
Fuck him. Okay, next matchup. Okay, next matchup.
Yeah,
I did not watch this match. I refuse at this stage to watch any Orange Cassidy. God. I am sorry, I can't do it. After that Trent Beretta match, the last pay-per-view, where it was a blood feud and he was still fucking around. By the way, Trent Beretta, his big heel turn, not on this show.
Yeah,
he's forgotten about it. He's in a stable now doing nothing. So good job there. Good job, guys.
Yeah, I don't want to book you.
Please take this match and let me know what the fuck happened. I know Zack Sabre Jr. won.
Okay, so
of course he did.
So even though Zack Sabre Jr. is like the one who's known for being a submission artist and tying people up into pretzels, it was kind of portrayed as if Orange Cassidy was equally as good at doing submissions as him. Hang on, let me get into it here.
No!
It was kind of portrayed as if Orange Cassidy was equal in the submission department as Zack Sabre Jr. And then for a lot of the beginning of the match, Cassidy kept on kind of out wrestling him and kind of slipping through him. All right. Do you have the time for the match right there, bro? Because I wasn't keeping track of the times myself. But what I do know is
the
that
match
this
went
thing,
16 minutes and 22 seconds.
okay, 16 minutes. It felt like it went on for twice that long, bro. Um, you know me. I don't expect there to be tons and tons of high spots in a match. I don't need there to be people getting dumped on their heads. I don't need people to be getting concussed with strikes and things like that. And I love British style submission wrestling. But here you had Zack Sabre Jr. trying to put on an exhibition style match, kind of similar to what he did with Bryan Danielson.
Snooze fest.
Yes, but then you had Orange Cassidy still doing the pockets things, putting him into submission holds and then putting his hands in his pockets. You had Zack Sabre Jr. trying to be a heel and like mock him and make fun of him and stuff, and it's just not working because Zack doesn't have a strong enough presence. He definitely needs to be like an underdog babyface like he was back in the day, and he needs to put on some size whether he's going to be a babyface or a heel. But in any case, man, this did not mesh well at all. This felt like if you went and watched a wrestling match from the 1930s, but it had none of the charm or nostalgia because it's not actually from that time. The crowd just sat on their hands. They only really came alive for one or two things. Um, Nothing that was really done in this match was executed badly, but you know what it reminds me of? It was a submission version of Mark Henry versus Booker T at Armageddon 2000.
Oh God, I remember that match.
It was a match where, and for those who haven't seen it, it was a pay-per-view match where nothing they did was necessarily bad. They didn't screw anything up. They didn't make wrestling look fake, but it was
Boring.
just so fucking boring. It was the equivalent, this match was the equivalent of one of those UFC fights where they just sit on the mat in a guillotine the whole time, trying to jockey for position until someone finally gets a weak tap out at the end of the first round or some shit like that. It was just a snooze fest. Um, I'm only giving it a D plus because I'm tired of rating everything. I'm tired of giving people the benefit of the doubt. I'm tired of assuming that decisions that are making where I'm giving them credit are going to lead to somewhere good. This match, this card on paper looked like it was going to be bland, very bland.
Well,
and it was. It was even blander than I thought it was going to be. It was just so bland, bro.
Apparently, by this point in the show, the CageMatch.net fans that have voted, they believe that Zack Sabre Jr. and Orange Cassidy, by this point in the show, is the best match so far. 8.61 out of 10 from 73 votes.
Nah.
They also thought that the Danielson Takagi match was 8.35 out of 10. The two matches we've said were boring.
Oh yeah, right. Well, wait till we get to the next match, bro.
Oh, you were talking about the trios match. The Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith. Hang on.
Brian Keith got replaced.
He was replaced.
Because he got
change that.
He got hurt. So
Jeff Cobb.
He got replaced by Jeff Cobb.
Cobbers, mate. Taking on Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata. Looking at this group of people, what stands out to you most, Juicy Boy? What would stand out most to you?
Well, first of all, Hook's size relative to the others.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
The fucking glaring fucking thing. When he got tagged in, I was like, come on, everyone, please. It's embarrassing. He's a child. You put him in there next to he's throwing Jeff Cobb around. He's hitting a T-bone suplex on Jeff Cobb. He's hitting a jumping clothesline on Cobb, and Cobb is bumping it.
Yeah, I hated that. You know my rule from back in my old wrestling days, man. You don't bump a big man. If you're in a match against a big man, you don't bump them.
They keep trying to make Hook a thing, dude, just because the fans, the diehards, bought into him for some reason. You know, I've said this before, like Shivani once on commentary, I think it was the last pay-per-view, and
Yes,
the
yes,
signal
the
was on the
signal
roof.
thing.
Oh
Yes, we get
God.
it. We
He's
get
here.
it.
He's
We
here.
get
Like, oh, is it Sting? No, it's fucking Hook. A teenager comes out. Half expecting him to have a fucking backpack on the way to school, walking out.
Yeah, dude, he looks like a cast member of Glee, you know?
He does. And look, I'm sure one day he might look the part, but get a cruiserweight division. I'm sorry, I'm sick and tired of seeing little dudes throwing around
Yeah,
these massive fucking men.
they've got enough fucking people to have a cruiserweight division. They've probably got enough to have a fucking middleweight division and a heavyweight division. You know, they have so many people, but they don't bother to fucking do it. It's like they're playing a video game with the weight detection turned off.
You got Big Bill out there, Samoa Joe. Like, how the fuck did Hook get mixed up in this? And how does Hook become the one that gets the pin? He beats Jericho with the Judas effect. Like, I don't have a problem with him beating Jericho because, you know,
No, that was
maybe,
fine. That was
you know,
fine.
that's
Because
fine.
Jericho's already beaten him a couple
Yeah,
of times.
he's gonna pay it back at some point. But again, like, stop trying to make him a thing. He's not gonna be a thing.
Did you watch the full match or did you just
I skimmed.
buzz through it? Okay. I had
wants to see something that annoys me, like Jeff Cobb bumping from a hook clothesline.
Fuck, dude.
That's it. I skimmed
I
forward.
watched the whole thing, man.
Well, please give us your astute thoughts there.
God, man, like again, ignorance of the rules. Several occasions where the rules were just thrown out or stretched beyond credulity for the sake of getting some of these ideas that they had in. Katsuyori Shibata again shows up, looks like he's recently rehabbed from a car accident and just is moving really gingerly and slow. I don't understand, bro. I'm not sure if you noticed it as well, but it just feels so. There's just a lack of oomph whenever he got in the ring, and maybe he has job face. I don't know. You know, I understand people get hurt. Brian Keith got hurt, but there's no reason for Jeff Cobb to be in this match. You could have found somebody else. Why don't you give Enzo a call and have him like
can you imagine
substitute in? Yeah, because then you got a small guy. Yeah, because then you got a small guy on each team, and it would have been a little something extra.
Great idea, bro. Well done.
But the match itself, bro, having watched the whole thing, it again, I've used this phrase a bit too much recently, but it was a little bit like they're walking underwater. It started out relatively positive. It started out okay. As it went on, it just felt more and more disjointed. It felt like there were gaps of time in between things happening, and things didn't have any flow to them. You know what I'm talking about. The match didn't have any flow to it. And again, I can only give it a D+ because it really didn't do. At one point, I think Shibata did an STO on Big Bill, and it's like, okay, so you do an STO, but Big Bill is so big that you've given him this back heel trip, and he's taken this big back bump, and it's like, how are you even big enough to force him down like that? It doesn't look realistic, you know.
Well, it's like how can Jungle Boy make Brian Cage tap out?
Oh man, don't even say that name because we still have to get to the ladder match, and I need to keep my blood pressure down, bro. All right. So this trios match, unfortunately, it wasn't very good. I did pop for Chris Jericho, blatantly going, "You guys don't really want me to retire. You love me. I'm from here." Like, occasionally, man, Jericho, the old pro that he is, he still can get me, man. Like, it, you know, when he leans into it into the right way, it still entertains me, and that is a mark of a true professional right there.
Yeah.
But beyond a couple of those moments, bro, Jesus Christ, honestly, man, this thing was just boring. It wasn't even that it was stupid. It just was boring.
In Jericho, in the face of like when all the fans were so upset over something that they didn't even know anything fucking about. And then they're trying to chant, please retire. And they want Jericho gone. He found a way. He found a fucking way to get them to still pop for something. Because guess what? Even though they try to chant, please retire, at one stage of the match, he walked towards the fans and he waved. And all of them started waving at him. So, like, he got him. He's got him wrapped around his fucking little finger. These fans, please retire, yet you still like interact with him like that. Surely everyone should be like that. Okay. Blood pressure, how's it feeling?
It's all right.
Well, it's time for the ladder match for the vacant TNT championship. Jack
You're
Perry,
going first, so
the scapegoat. The scapegoat, right? Takeshita, Mark
I've got a
Briscoe,
headache. I've got a
Dante
headache.
Martin. I've got one too. Leo Rush and El Phantasmo. My first note, Jack Perry's winning this match. I know who's winning all these matches, dude.
Oh my God, man. See,
I would have gone with Takeshita because it was something different.
He's the biggest, he's the most impressive looking star in the fucking match.
The Elite don't need any extra belts. Like, they got the tag titles, they got the, what do you call it? The Continental title. They don't need another thing. Like, now that's going to be like involving them. What has Takeshita done after beating Omega twice and then going on about, no, not many people have been able to do that? He has done nothing. That means
that's right.
Anything.
That's right. He dared to say in an interview with someone that he wasn't always 100% happy with how he was being booked. That's what he said. He said, you know, I don't feel like I'm having as much fun doing this in America as I was in Japan. And who can blame him for that? Continue.
Dante Martin does nothing in AEW except for qualify for ladder matches on pay-per-view.
And then almost get fucking hurt as well, man. All right.
He never does anything else. His trajectory has not changed since day dot. When we first saw him and we're very impressed with him, he is still just another body in a ladder match to do something high-flying. I thought Phantasmo did a very good job in this match of getting himself over and getting himself familiarized with a lot of the fans. I thought he got some reactions there for the spots that he was in, right? Mark Briscoe, you know, he's always great, but he nearly killed himself on a dive. And then that big, God, man, when he jumped off that top rope, sorry, not top rope, off the top of the ladder onto the table and it didn't break. I'm like, it's like AEW, a snake bit. They always fuck these kinds of spots up. It never seems flush. It's always awkward. I don't know if Dante actually hurt himself or if that was great selling, but he looked in pretty big pain. And I don't know if he did anything after that in the match, but it didn't appear anyone was coming out to help him anyway. So maybe it was just
you mean
good
after
selling.
he hurt his leg? Yeah, he was still in the match after that.
Okay. The only thing I will say is that no one was trying to win this match.
Yes.
They were just setting up the next spot. And a lot of the time they're all on the fucking outside of the ring.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, I don't want to be so like fucking nitpicky about things, but this isn't just a nitpick. This is like a glaring fucking issue with these fucking multi-man ladder matches that I'm so fucking sick of, because if Tony doesn't know what to do, so he's got to, I don't know, pivot with something. Oh, let's just do a tournament, and the winners of their matches, qualifying matches, they go into a ladder match, like every fucking time, and it's boring. I've seen this a million times, and not one stage did it really feel like anyone was desperate to try and climb a ladder and retrieve the belt.
Yeah.
Blue Thunder Bomb off the ring apron by Takeshita. I think Phantasmo. I was spot of the match for me. I thought though that Takeshita, that was the finish. I thought he should have gone up, climbed the ladder, grabbed the belt, and won the belt there. But no, of course not. Obvious result comes. Jack Perry wins the TNT title. And I'm just like, you know what, Tony, your booking is so fucking boring, dude. I look up and down this card and it is so fucking obvious what's happening every fucking time. And I've been saying this for 3 fucking years since I started watching AEW. Every fucking time I know what you're doing. Come on, man. Throw a few fucking spanners in the works. Let's keep us on our fucking toes. Juicy Boy, do you have anything else to add?
Yes, actually, I have extensive thoughts.
So here we go.
I'm going to give this match a little bit more credit, because at least this match had a sense of urgency and danger to it after me being so fucking bored for the previous 3 matches. I also would have preferred if there was more attempts to actually go for the belt more often. But I also thought, okay, they got creative with it. They thought of a way to do a couple of interesting spots. Mark Briscoe, in particular, he took a couple of bumps into the ladders, which were really impressive. Lio Rush really impressed me in this match as well. This is probably the best Lio Rush performance I've seen in like a long time, in as long as I can remember. He took a couple of really gnarly bumps. He looked good in there. The match was just chaotic. There was a lot of really dangerous stuff going on. As you said, there was a moment where the ladder with Phantasmo and Dante Martin toppled over and both of them fell down, and Dante looked like he'd hurt his leg again. It did seem to just be really good selling, unless we hear otherwise coming up soon, because he was involved in other spots and he was jumping and stuff like that. One thing I did want to point out earlier on in the match, there's a moment where Phantasmo sets a ladder on the mat sideways. And he picks up Dante Martin and just brainbusters him onto this ladder, just right onto his bloody neck. And I'm just like, there, he's just come back and he's going to get bloody hurt again, because all they do is throw him into these matches to just dive around and get messed up. Jungle Boy was by far the weakest performer in this match. His strikes look fake. He has this resting, just bitch face all the time. He constantly looks mopey and depressed. He never looks fired up. He looks like he has a vitamin E deficiency. He looks pallid. He looks like he's not in the sun enough. You know, he's in there, and basically his whole role in the match was just to interfere in momentum that other wrestlers had built up and try to pick the scraps. But because he has no charisma, the crowd's kind of booing just automatically, because that's what they do there. But, a lot of people like me are just sitting there and going, this guy is the least entertaining out of the whole match. Why do we have to keep watching him fucking stick his nose into it? The match itself, I'm going to give it a C minus because it entertained me. However, did not like the winner, was pissed off that Jack Perry won, was pissed off at people tweeting about it like it was this great thing afterwards. Once again, the audience pisses me off as much as the product sometimes. But those are my thoughts.
Right. Well, let's move forward. TBS Championship and New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Championship in a winner-take-all match. Mercedes Monet against Stephanie Vaca from New Japan Strong, and I believe she's the CMLL champion as well. JUOYSBOY, take it away.
All right, short and sweet with this. I'm giving the match a C minus, only because Stephanie Vaca is clearly, a talent. The one thing that I want to note here as well is that the AEW audience is so fucking fickle. As soon as Stephanie Vaca started doing some cool things, and like some of the guys probably think she's hot, so they start cheering for her and booing Mercedes Monet, just like that, after weeks and weeks of acting like she's, the second coming in women's wrestling. So Mercedes Monet, this was probably her best in-ring work since coming back. However, that's not to say that it was really good. There were still several moments where it just felt like she's walking underwater. She's running slowly. She seems a little two-footed here and there. There seems to be this weird delay between the moment striking where the move needs to happen and it actually getting hit. And the pacing seems to be shifted back a notch from where it used to be when she was in WWE. And she executed some nice looking things, but I still feel like it's almost like she's working off her ring rust live on pay-per-view, bro. That's what it feels like. It feels like we're getting a little bit closer to the Sasha Banks of old each time she has a match, except it's in front of a paying audience on pay-per-view, bro. you know, Stephanie showed that she's a good talent. People are already saying, sign her, sign her. Sign her what? So she can
Do
just
what?
become another unknown name on the roster? Sign her what? I'd be more interested in seeing her against Tiffany Stratton, to be honest with you. So there. And that's all I've got to say about that match.
These fucking fans, bro. Like, do what with her? Where's Gianna Perazzo now?
Oh, she lost. She lost to what's her name, bro?
Thunder Rosa. I don't know. Tony. I don't know.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Thunder Rosa. She fucking. It wasn't the bunny or something like that. It was she lost to Hikaru Shida, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, right. Okay.
In the most recent
Okay. Right.
match.
But I'm just saying, they bring in these people and they make a big deal. Oh, they signed all these people, and then like again they just disappear, and you never hear from them again. I don't get it. I don't know why you want more people to be signed when you have all these people that just keep disappearing. Anyway, so we know that Mercedes was winning. She is the most overrated and overpaid performer in pro wrestling. Yes, you're right. Her timing is off still. She's only had like what? Let's have a look.
I think this is two matches in now, maybe three. She might have had one on
a couple of yeah. Okay, so since she left WWE in 2022, that's May of 2022, she's had 9 matches. So, yeah, and there was that big gap of time when she got injured and all that. Just saying, that's probably why, reps, bro. So this is what I was saying earlier about MJF's match going first. I think that the MJF's match should have been in the spot of the ladder match, and the ladder match should have opened the show, because having the ladder match before this match had the crowd a bit dead for this match. And they were a little bit, how do I explain it? They seemed like they were trying to distract themselves, or I don't know, not trying to distract themselves. They were trying to feel something. So that's when they started fucking around, chanting "fuck the Celtics," and then they start booing Mercedes because they're just, I don't know what it is. Like, they've just been burned out on this massive match beforehand, so now they're just fucking around a little bit because, you know, they need to come to again, I suppose. I don't know. If we keep going boom, 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 boom for 4.5, 5 hours, yeah, like you're going to need that palate cleanser to just slow things down a little bit again so you could bring the fans back up so they're not fucking dead.
Like, holy shit. It's like how at the beginning of the fucking review right here, bro, you mentioned that I love American Dad, Family Guy, etc. Dude, I can't watch 5.5 hours of American Dad at a time, though. After a while, it just gets fucking old. You're like, all right, it's really funny and stuff, but I need a break from it, watch something else, do something else. It's no different with wrestling. It doesn't matter how much you love wrestling. It's just gonna fucking, people are just mentally spent, you know, by the time you get 2/3 into these shows.
Dude, I love playing GTA Online, but when I get to the 3-hour mark, I'm like, man, I'm done. Like, I've got to get offline and do something else, you know? It's just whatever.
Yeah, well, we streamed Old School the other night on our Twitch channel, and
by 3 hours, I was like, fuck.
Yeah, after 3 hours, you're just like, God, I can't look at this anymore.
Anyway, so they were fucking around with chants and all that stuff. I don't know why. I guess because Mercedes is from Boston. So that's why they're going to chant "fuck the Celtics." What the fuck is wrong with you people? Watch the match.
Celtics-Knicks rivalry, bro.
Gives a shit.
Yeah, no one cares, eh? Like,
okay. Dude, I said this before about Ronda Rousey and her piece of shit Piper's Pit finishing move. Mercedes, stop using the moneymaker. It is shit.
Yeah.
You've never hit it properly. When you have kind of hit it properly, it still looks shit. There's no impact. You know why? Because you're fucking tiny. And there is no fucking like height to fall from for it to be a knockout blow, dude. Yeah. You gotta fucking stop with the move. Just quit while you're behind and stop using the moneymaker. It is shit. Mercedes wins. What a fucking surprise, Juicy Boy. What a surprise. Of course she doesn't lose. Again, another fucking foregone conclusion. Finally, though, match is over. Thank fuck. We get something that was unexpected. Something interesting. Here comes Britt Baker. She's made her return. DM fucking D.
Yeah, but then she stares off against Monet, and it's like, who
Hang on.
cares?
Bro, they could have done something here. Something interesting could have happened. You mean to tell me she makes her big return to just stand at the stage, then turn around and fucking leave whilst Mercedes holds her belts up in the air? That's the big confrontation. How about you give her like 3 or 4 minutes on the mic to fucking say something scathing about Mercedes being there, taking a spot from the AEW women who have been in this roster for years, trying to make it the best division it could be, and you just waltz in. Now you got 2 titles. You have your own little fucking locker room. You have the biggest contract out of anyone. I should have the biggest contract out of anyone because I built this fucking division. How simple is that? Now we're feeling something. Now we've got some heat. Not just fucking walk out and then walk back. What the fuck, Tony? What the fuck? Again, wrote the show with a fucking crayon. You had all this time to think of Britt's massive return. Just like when MJF made his massive return twice. And you fucked that up and you fucked this up.
you know what it is, bro? I know what it is. It's because Tony Khan views his stars as if they were on the level of an Undertaker or a Rock or an Austin or a Triple H, or a Bret Hart or a Hulk Hogan, or like John Cena, Roman Reigns. He thinks that his stars are on that same level to the point where they have an aura where you can just put the person out there with their theme music and have them stand there, and it's cool. That'll be enough. Because you can do that with people like The Undertaker or The Rock or John Cena, or take your pick of legends, right? If someone's making a big return and they're going to come out and stare off against the current champion of their division, those guys all have a presence where that would mean something just seeing them come out there and stand off because they're legendary figures. They have that presence about them. Britt is awesome. She doesn't yet have that presence about her. None of the talents on this roster, in terms of the AEW homegrown talent roster, bro, have had the opportunity to become stars with that kind of magnitude. And that's why it doesn't work. Because you've had Britt Baker come back and people like her, but it's not exactly like it's Trish Stratus showing up in AEW or something like that.
It's a big deal in a sense, but like it could be a bigger deal if you actually did something other than the most fucking bland, boring, basic, entry-level shit. Like you've been booking for long enough now, Tony. Surely when you think of, we have Britt return here, surely, like, wouldn't your mind start to think, but maybe we could do like something a little bit more like, I don't know, shocking or outlandish or interesting? Why doesn't your brain move further than just one step further? One step further than entry level basic fucking shit. You can't even do that, dude. You can't even do that.
He doesn't have a very deep playbook, does he? He only has like 2 or 3 plays for any given situation.
That's the problem. Anyway, let's get away from this match. We're already over an hour. IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Jon Moxley against Tetsuya Naito. Is it my turn to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Moxley made his entrance and he looked like a Winter Olympian. You see that jacket he was wearing?
No, I didn't watch the entrances. Bro.
Okay, I saw a flash of his entrance and his jacket. He looked like he was competing in the Winter Olympics, like he's a real athlete. I didn't really fucking pay a lot of attention to this because I'm burned out on Moxley. I'm burned out by this part of the show. I don't want to see another fucking long match. This one went 17 minutes after the match that just went nearly 17 minutes, and another match that just nearly went 17 minutes after a match that went 14, and then another match that went 16 and a half minutes. Just fuck, man. Fucking hell. Anyway, Did you notice the beginning of the match? Moxley was stomping Tetsuya in the corner, and his feet weren't even fucking connecting with the guy in the stomach.
All of those strikes at the beginning looked just dreadful, man.
Dreadful. I'm sick of Moxley's tough guy bullshit. I don't buy it. I don't care. One other thing I remember was Moxley and Naito clumsily pushing through each other through the tiniest little bit of barricade. And the only other thing I have to say is that they just hit moves on each other. They just hit moves on each other. That's all the match was. There was no psychology here. Jooseyboy, please take it away.
That's giving it too much credit, bro. This match is getting an F. This was by far the worst match on the show, and since I've already given out some Ds, that is saying something. The second that this match started, there was the back and forth strikes with no selling. The second minute into the match, Moxley's already on the outside getting weapons in and bringing weapons in. Repeated strikes that clearly did not connect at all. Other strikes that probably hurt quite a bit but looked totally shit because everything Moxley executes is just so messy. And so he tries to do this thing where he's got this unorthodox style, and there's a style that only he has that makes his matches unique, except unlike being a Mick Foley or a Ric Flair or somebody like that who does have a unique style, his style is shit. And it doesn't have the desired effect of making his matches stand out in a good way. It has the effect of making him stand out like he's a fucking idiot.
Fucking hell.
This was just ridiculous. Not a single thing was sold. There was barely any change in the facial expression of either competitor in this match. It looked boring. It looked bland. It looked like everything to do with it would hurt. I find it shameful that Jim Ross had to sit there and call this match. And there he is doing his best to call this and make it legitimate. And Moxley is just, again, no selling. Honestly, man, it almost looks like he's like got CTE and he's just zonked out all the time. And just that's why he looks like such a fucking robot going through his matches. Like, it is just so bad. I know it's not a very complex analysis that I'm giving folks, but that's all I can say about the match that I watched here. It did nothing for Shibata, and Moxley just continued.
Naito.
Naito, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It did nothing for Naito. It did absolutely nothing except make him look weak, because I've seen him perform before, and I know he can kick more ass than what he did in this match. And Moxley's stuff continues to look both poorly executed and see-through, while also looking painful and uncomfortable to work with him as well.
So something's just not right with him, hey? I don't know what it is.
I don't know, but
he's just so fucking messy and clumsy, and I don't know, like it's just not firing on all cylinders. It hasn't for a long time, and I would think if I were him, I'd be fucking bored, dude. I'd be bored out of my brain. Anyway, okay. Look, I pre-planned this rant, and I feel bad that I might take up some time here. But I'll try and keep it as short as possible. This is one win here for New Japan Pro Wrestling. One win. And I want to recap, okay? So I've said this before, and I want to say it one more time. This is not a fairly co-promoted show, because the New Japan talent, for the most part, lose, okay? Let me recap. Kyle Fletcher beats Serpentico. That doesn't matter because Serpentico's a Ring of Honor mostly, and he's been in AEW. That doesn't count. Four-way tag match with one New Japan guy in it. Tomohiro Ishii and his team did not win. Tam Nakano got a pinfall victory in the women's tag match on the pre-show, but she pinned Momo Watanabe. So she didn't even get to pin an AEW person. Mystico, the Lucha Brothers, they get their win. An AEW team is also in the group. Mystico from CMLL. He gets a pinfall victory over New Japan guys. MJF beats the guy from CMLL. Tanahashi is the one that cops the pin in the 6-man tag team match. Danielson beats Takagi clean. Tony beats Mina. Zack Sabre Jr. gets the big win over Orange Cassidy, okay, who is in that spot to put over New Japan talent like he did for Ospreay, because Ospreay was here in New Japan and Cassidy's here, right? Zack Sabre Jr. is here in New Japan. Orange Cassidy's here. What happened last year? Jack Perry's the one that loses to Sonata, who's here because he was the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, and Jack Perry was here. When their bigger guys get the win, it's over a lesser talent on the roster for AEW. It is so fucking painfully obvious that this is just to put over AEW. The ladder match was an AEW thing, whatever. The CMLL chick loses clean to Mercedes. CMLL got bugger all in the show except Mystico getting an obvious win on the fucking pre-show. Moxley and Naito is New Japan being thrown a bone, despite the fact that there was probably a deal made for Moxley to win the belt to drop it back at a later date. So really, like, what did this do for anyone? It's one apiece and they're probably not going to have a rubber match. And I bring that up because I brought it up in previous years when they've had these shows, and it's just painfully obvious to me that it never serves to help New Japan at all. In fact, some of those big names like Okada, when he lost to Danielson, now Okada's in AEW. Ospreay, when he got big wins over Omega, he's now in AEW. Shibata's now in AEW. Like, is this even equal anymore? Is it even equal anymore? There's no dream matches anymore. They're just matches. Just because they're from a different company doesn't mean it makes it good or it makes it a dream match or special. They're just matches now. And I'm ending the rant here. This does nothing for New Japan. No wonder the dude who used to run New Japan did not want to work with AEW in the first place. No wonder Rossi Ogawa did not want to work with AEW with Stardom. No, they knew that this was only going to serve All Elite Wrestling and is not going to help the other companies, because they're not doing a Forbidden Door in Japan, Juicy Boy. They're not doing a Forbidden Door in Mexico. No, it's always in the US, and the AEW guys always fucking go over. It is pointless for these companies to keep doing this with them. And I don't want to fucking hear it about TNA and NXT and all that shit. It was one fucking match. All right? This is fucking 3 pay-per-views over 3 years. Let's move forward. Main event, World Championship. Strickland and Ospreay. Juicy Boy, you have the floor right now, my friend.
Yeah, I'll give this match a B+, and actually give it a pretty decent rating, because I thought that yes, there are a number of things that jumped the shark for me. A number of moments where things were just blatantly not sold, or things were, or like, let's take a Canadian destroyer and pop up and, you know, hit something crazy in response, even though moments before that same move had me down for a 2.5 count. So there were things like that. However, these two guys are both great athletes. The commentators did a heck of a job here calling this like a main event. Both guys obviously have a level of connection with their fan base. There's no denying that they can do some pretty impressive stuff. They've got great balance. They've got great reflexes. There were a number of things that impressed me about this match. However, it went on for far too long. There were several near finishes in this match that by rights should have been the end of the match. They took this thing to a level where what could have been a classic AEW championship match that exemplified everything good about the more modern style, it could have been that And then they continued kicking out and did about another 8 to 10 high spot, close or near fall moments following after that before Swerve finally got the victory and retained his championship, as well as winning the international championship, I believe. So I'm giving it a decent rating. But having said that, it still managed to outstay its welcome, bro. It still was too much of a good thing. It was overload. It was, as we keep saying, man, like less is more. That's why I gave the MJF Hechichero match such high ratings, bro, because it was different from the standard forearm bullshit that we usually see.
Yeah.
It wasn't full of generic dives and stuff like that, and it didn't go for 20 minutes either. It was just pretty short and sweet. So, and it actually felt like a mesh between two distinctly different styles having to jockey for the upper hand. This was not that. This main event was two wrestlers who are very good at a particular style who had a really good match and then went and spoiled it by, in my opinion, getting carried away and doing too much.
Boy, oh boy, the match went 27 minutes, dude. Man, what happened to Miro? What happened to Claudio Castagnoli? Roosh? Well, he was doing something with MJF. I guess that was only a
he wrestled him on TV.
Thing. Right. Okay. Well, okay. I knew that this was going to be like a typical Ospreay match, which is like we've seen this kind of match 4 or 5 times tonight, people kicking out of things, but this was on a whole different level, right? God, there's things in the match that just we saw it the whole show, like people just letting each other hit one another in the face. They keep trying to make Daniel Garcia a thing, and I don't know why. They shot him in the crowd watching the match. I guess he's going to be Ospreay's next challenger and will lose.
Yeah, he's already been announced to face him at All In London. So if, like,
why
realize,
is that
bro,
the match?
That if Ospreay had won this match against Swerve, then Garcia would have been getting an AEW World and AEW International title shot in Wembley.
So stupid.
So that match is already happening. It's been announced. Sorry, MJF versus Daniel Garcia has been announced.
Right. Okay.
Wembley.
Okay. This is the Will Ospreay match, and this is why everyone thinks he's so great. Okay, he's decided to be the guy, and I like Will Ospreay. I think he's got potential, which is going to offend so many people. Potentially, he's the best in the world. He has so much potential for what he can do physically, but he's put himself in this position where I say, why are you so special that you get to kick out of everything? Why are you so special that you can kick out of an angle slam off the top rope? Why is it that you're so special that you can cop a swerve stomp off the ring apron and landing back first on the announcer's table where it looked like you were killed, and then get a pile driver on top of the barricade, then get hit with a sit-down curtain call, then you kick out. Then somehow you hit an avalanche Oz cutter, then another Oz cutter, and Swerve kicks out. Then you go for a third Oz cutter, but then you hit the Stormbreaker, which is your big move. Swerve kicks out. Swerve counters the Tiger Driver. He hits a hidden blade. Then he hits the Swerve Stomp. And when he kicked out there, when I'd already had a problem previously, dude.
It was too much.
That I was like, you got to be kidding me. That was the point. You had everyone there that were like, oh, wicked. And you had him kick out of his own finisher and Swerve's finisher. Then what the fuck was with this? We get a ref bump with an attempted fucking hidden blade.
Terrible.
Poison Rana no-sells the Poison Rana to hit a desperation hidden blade at the back of Swerve's head. They both go down because somehow Will had enough energy to hit that move, but then afterward, he's still completely fucked. No. Then we have this bullshit with Don trying to hand a screwdriver to Ospreay. Don't start this bullshit about how Don's trying to turn him heel. Shut the fuck up. These shenanigans, Prince Nana pushing Don Callis over, then threatening Nana with the screwdriver. After everything these two motherfuckers did to each other in this match, you mean to tell me that this had a place in the match? You've got to be fucking joking me, bro. This had no place in this matchup. Why add it in? Did you really need to protect Ospreay?
Fuck, man.
It's his first fucking loss. Let him fucking just lose the fucking match, dude.
That whole
WWE did this
thing.
horse shit. You would fucking be all over it, you fans, and you gave us what? A 9 out of 10 on cagematch.net. And bro, like, dude, he got another fucking Swerve stomp and he kicked out again. Again.
And that's the thing as well. The other thing, that whole screwdriver thing, bro, where Don Callis came out and tried to give it to him. I'd forgotten that was ever a fucking thing. That was so fucking long ago.
So long ago, bro.
The last time they did anything with that was all the way back when Omega first broke up with Don Callis and was feuding with Ospreay. That was fucking months and months and months ago. Who the fuck is remembering that at this point in time?
Bro, okay, we get past this fucking spot, okay? He got hit with a Swerve stomp, right? He kicked out of it. And I wrote down, fuck off already. Then, dude, Swerve hit the fucking the jumping kick that he does, whatever you call it. Whatever he calls it. House of Swerve or whatever. I don't know.
House party or some shit.
Whatever it is, that was, again, the finish.
Yeah.
You had him there, you fucking dickhead. And he kicked out again. Again.
Too
and I'm
much,
like, I'm
man.
done. I'm done. I can't fucking do this anymore. You fans that cream your fucking pants over this one guy who's allowed to kick out of everything dozens of fucking times, and then the finish is this fucking anticlimactic finish. What in the fuck are you thinking? You had him there and he had to kick out again, and then he had to try and hit a hidden blade, but he was so tired. Fuck off already, cunt. Fuck off already, cunt.
Too
Insulting.
Much,
Insulting. Went from like being like maybe a 7 or an 8 out of 10 kind of match. Boom, right down to a fucking 1 or 2. Go fuck yourself. Thank you.
All right, so let's give our final ratings and then take a look at some tweets.
Go ahead, bro. What's your rating out of 10?
2.5. 2.5 out of 10.
Fuck.
I did not care for this show. I thought that this show was bland, predictable.
Very bland.
I thought it was inane. I thought that there was just really no significant interest generated by this paper. It's just, no, just didn't work. Too much overkill and not enough big things happening that actually stick with you after the show is over.
Nothing mattered on this show. Nothing mattered at all. I'm going to give 1 point to Britt Baker's return. I'm going to give 1 point to Stephanie Vacca's performance. I thought she was very good. And I will give another point to Mariah May and the dress she was wearing. That will be 3 out of 10, Juicy Boy. I don't have a fine science behind it being a 3 out of 10, but I just felt like I wasted my time once again watching a show that doesn't fucking matter. It only mattered the first time, maybe the second time a little bit, but after this, there's nothing fucking exciting about these types of shows anymore. It doesn't mean shit. Let's look at some tweets, Juicy Boy.
Yeah, dude, let's do it. So that was our review of the show, and now we're going to take a look at a couple of tweets that we found regarding the show, And yeah, these are usually tweets that we just kind of disagree with and find stupid, and that's why we call it bad tweets, bad tweets, bad tweets, bad tweets.
Okay. First tweet here from Just Alex at Just Alex Central. Not a hyperbole. Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay may have just had the greatest AEW pay-per-view main event to date. An absolute classic and a feather in AEW's cap. Swerve Strickland retains the world title in spectacular fashion. That's definitely one of those guys that loves dopamine hits all the time.
Oh, bro, this guy's a mess. Yeah, it wasn't the best AEW pay-per-view main event of all time. I probably, if I'm going to be picking a main event, all-time main event, I would have to say MJF versus Adam Cole at Wembley would be up there for one of their best pay-per-view main events ever. And I can think of a few other matches as well that I think would be more worthy than this match, where they did a lot of crazy high-flying shit and kicked out of everything under the sun. But did they do anything that made the match stand out above all others? Not really. So, yeah.
That match is going to be forgotten about, bro. Because the next time they're going to do even more and more and more and more.
It's all just a blur, bro.
It is a blur.
If they have a rematch, what are they going to do if they have a rematch?
Exactly. What else is there to be done? Except this time, Ospreay wins.
All right.
Okay, AEW Women's Division blog. Fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
You know what the problem is? These fans, they blow things up so great that makes other people go, no, it actually wasn't really that good, mate.
Yeah.
Like, you make me not want to fucking give it a compliment at all because you give it too much of a fucking compliment. Fucking incredible match as it pertains to Monet and Stephanie. Saw stuff I've never seen before. Really? Stephanie Vaca showed the world who she is. She did. And of course, Mercedes Monet is the GOAT. No, she's not. Take a bow. Maybe not. Juicy Boy, what do you think of that?
I think it's fucking stupid. I think that it just shows the kind of accounts that are lurking out there that no matter what happens, like this tweet could have been pre-written, and I would not be surprised if it was pre-written. All right, I'm going to read the next one. So, and it's very simple, and it just comes from at Cebus_Bucks. And it's a picture of Jack Perry entering in the God mask saying scapegoat Jack Perry. And it says, this kind of rules, hashtag AEW Forbidden Door. It doesn't rule. You're not allowed to like it. Stop having fun.
That's so mean.
No, in all seriousness, it's if this person enjoys it, that's fine. But if that is something that impressed this person, then
they must fucking love the Wyatt Six.
Oh, they are, dude. But their standards must just be really low. Like in terms of what impresses them.
It's called Scapegoat. I get it. All right, should we move to the next one?
Yeah, that was all.
Big Laz. At Team Chaos 1998.
Oh, okay, this one takes the cake.
We're off to a good start here. Team Chaos 1998. Big Laz. All right, sounds like a cool guy.
Trust me when you
Hot take. John Moxley's AEW run has far surpassed his Fed run, and he will be remembered as an all-elite guy when the dust settles. Reminds me of Barkley and his Forgotten Sixes run. People remember him as a son.
Okay, there's a lot to deal with in this one here. Okay.
Are we watching different shows? Are we watching different?
All right. Okay. Let me try and wrap my head around this for a second. Charles Barkley is not more remembered as a son. 95% of players that have ever had a stint on the Phoenix Suns probably don't even remember they fucking had a stint on the Phoenix Suns. Philadelphia, by far, was the more notable team, that Charles Barkley is probably remembered for being on because they were the bad boys of the NBA in the 90s. Second of all right, I need to actually just look at it to. So it's a bad analogy. Okay, Moxley's run has far surpassed his Fed run. No, it hasn't. It's been far inferior to his Fed run. He seems to have lost abilities and storytelling talent that he once possessed. There were tons of times where a Dean Ambrose match was one of the ones that I would be looking forward to on a card because he could be relied upon in the WWE, especially as he got comfortable there to put on a good match. Um, so I think that's absolute bullshit. I think that you're projecting what you want to be the truth onto everyone by tweeting this because
Yeah.
way more people, like I guarantee you there are people out there that are going, oh, I wonder what happened to Dean Ambrose. Like, how come Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns are still wrestling but not Dean Ambrose? Like, not a doubt in my mind that there are people that hold that opinion. I strongly, I just think there's no way that more people know who he is and recognize him as John Moxley or respect his AEW work more. I think that's not only do I think that's a dumb opinion, I think he's like lying about it. I think he's actively just lying. He knows that's not true.
Yeah, no, they'll make up the narrative and then they'll push the narrative to try and make it as if it's fact. It's not true. You watch a Moxley match from, let's say 2016, 2017, you will see a vast difference in the performer.
Yeah.
He is spinning his wheels. There is nothing interesting to his character. There is no trajectory that I can see coming his way that will make his character interesting in future. He's just going to keep having matches and he's going to keep bleeding. And I think you might think that maybe he's going to be, when the dust settles, he's going to be an all elite guy and he's going to be remembered for being Moxley and all that. I think the fact that his character has no signs of getting interesting in the future means that that's not going to happen because it's just going to continue to be on a very bland trajectory.
Yeah. All right. We got a couple more.
What's number 5? Okay. The Prince Magus. If you saw Jack Perry point during his entrance, you saw him acknowledging the truth of my sign. The sign says corporate monkeys fear the scapegoat.
Okay, so
Fuck,
there's only one simple and very quick reason why I selected this for our main tweet segment, this review, and that is no one in corporate, no one at TBS, no one at TNT, Tony Khan himself, the discipline committee, CM Punk, anyone on the roster, Tony Schiavone, Taz, Excalibur, nobody there fears Jack Perry. No one at all. No one at all. And TNT did not give a shit about Jack Perry and what happened with Jack Perry and CM Punk. TNT were documented as being upset that Tony Khan ended up dismissing CM Punk instead of getting rid of Jack Perry.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not mean that TNT people were sitting there and going, oh, you've got to keep this kid off of the show. No one fucking cares. All right, let's move on.
Tweet number 6. Big Laz is back again.
Yeah.
Rearing his ugly head. All the washed grifters like Raj and Bischoff hate watching AEW Forbidden Door right now. Laugh crying emoji. You're not actually laughing and crying. I know you think that does a lot of heavy lifting for your shit personality, but go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it doesn't. So washed up grifters, obviously he's referring to Raj Giri and Eric Bischoff. Okay, all the washed grifters hate watching. All right. First of all, they're not, whether they like it or dislike it, they're watching it because it is an opportunity for them to create content in this postmodern world that where we live in, where everyone is able to have their own channel and broadcast their opinions and monetize it. And that's why people like Bischoff and Raj Giri and others are taking the time to look at Forbidden Door, because it's an opportunity for them to generate content and income from it. I highly, highly doubt that Eric Bischoff is like sitting in some armchair, like gripping the arms of the chair, like
he's
so
laughing.
pissed off.
He would be laughing.
I guarantee you, at most, anyone that's looking at the show is they're either stone-faced just sitting there like I was, or they're laughing at the absurdity of charging $50 to watch this on pay-per-view. Fuck yourself. All right.
I think instead of getting angry, at most Eric might do this. He might go, like, he might cringe a little bit or like, pull a face, but he's not going to get angry. Okay, last one. Dav Burra, 1, 2, 3. I think he's been on this. He's been on the reviews before.
Yeah, Dave's been on here before.
No, it's Dav. It's Dav.
He's responding to a tweet from a person called Dylan. And Dylan says here, quite reasonably, in my opinion, he posts a picture of the Money in the Bank card, which has about 5 matches on it. And then next to it, it's got a picture of the Forbidden Door card, which has 14. And he says, the difference is insane. I'm sorry, but I can't sit through 14 matches. That's crazy. I don't know about you, Kyle, and I don't know about you, viewers watching at home, everyone out there. But I think it's quite reasonable to feel like 14 matches is just maybe a bit of a slog. And he personally feels like it's too much for him. He didn't even say anything rude about the product. He just said, like, it's too much. So, but the reason why we're bringing it up here in Mean Tweets is because Dav responds with, don't apologize. It's not your fault you have the attention span of a toddler.
See?
And there are so many...
fan base, bro. He didn't say anything bad, and he's already been condescendingly spoken down to.
The thing is, there's several layers to that statement, bro, because first of all, it's condescending. It's going down to the petty, childish level that they accuse WWE fans of going down to, even though this Dylan person didn't say anything negative at all, except that he personally thought it was too many matches. So he goes, don't apologize. That's condescending as fuck. But this is what really gets me, bro. Quote, it's not your fault you have the attention span of a toddler. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? There were people flying off ladders, going through tables, hitting each other in the head with chairs, girls kissing, all kinds of crazy shit going on, people having their arms seemingly snapped and stuff like that. Toddlers aren't going to be watching this, for one thing. And for two, no toddler has the attention span to sit there for almost 5.5 hours. And I don't even think it's like most people that talk to you will tell you that 2 hours is the longest they can sit down and watch something. That is why films that go for 3 hours, 3.5 hours never get released at the cinema, bro. They get released on streaming or onto DVDs before that as extra editions because people don't want to sit there for that long. So I think that not only is it rude, but it's deliberately ignorant because he knows that most people, the vast majority, aren't going to sit there and watch 14 matches over fucking...
If he was a true fan, he would say, hey, man, I think you should give it a chance. And if you need to take a break here and there, you can always pause it, but I guarantee you might enjoy the show. Instead of immediately coming down on him, now Dylan might think, you know what? I'm not going to fucking watch it now because there's fans like you who are going to talk to me like that. Go fuck yourself. So, Dav, you've done, gatekeeping right there. Dav, you've done a bit of a disservice there by being a bit of a cunt. Dav, can you honestly tell me and Jooseyboy right here, right now, even though that you're not going to be able to respond, you can tell me that you can sit there for 5.5 hours or 4.5 hours. What? No, the pre-show was 1.5 hours, pay-per-view 4, 5.5 hours. You can sit there for 5.5 hours concentrated into it. You don't need a break. You don't need a break for a fucking second. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You really mean to tell me a 4-hour pay-per-view to you seems like it's fucking appropriate? I don't think so, dude. Like, you know how, what was the movie? The one that De Niro did with Pesci when he made his return.
The Irishman.
That's a long fucking movie, dude. Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, long fucking movie. I was able to watch The Irishman in 2 sittings. At one stage, I just had to tap out and go to bed because I was just like, I need to watch this, watch the rest of this tomorrow. Like, Kurt, our good friend Kurt, he's a massive AEW fan. He never watches the end of the pay-per-views because he's got work in the morning and he goes to bed or whatever. He always goes to bed at a certain time. He gets tired. Like, and he's a big fan. So, like, just because Dav, you seem to be like this fucking perfect human being that can keep your attention on the wrestling for 5.5 hours or 5 hours,
Dude,
doesn't
when
mean
you
that
live
it's
in
other
your
people's experiences, mate.
bro, when you live in your mom's basement and spend all day sitting in your underwear, jerking off and watching wrestling and
Just
playing
all
video
day jerking
games
off, that would hurt.
and scrolling through Reddit and scrolling through Twitter, you've got the time and the wherewithal to sit there through all that shit.
That's
It's
the thing, bro. That's the thing. Like, I don't have 4 hours, 4.5 hours, 5 hours in a particular day. That's a long fucking time. There's only 24
yeah.
of them.
I
Plus, you got
don't
to add in
yeah.
8 hours sleep or whatever. Like, fuck, man. Like, I've got fucking other shit I want to do with my fucking life. We're still doing the review right now. This has taken like fucking 6 odd hours of our time, bro.
Yeah, and that's because we pride ourselves on not half-assing reviews. And that's why we put ourselves through this all the time for the fans of the channel and the fans that we hope to uh, gain in the future. These shows are marathons, bro. They are marathons to get through. Um, and it's not a matter of, oh, we just need to have a lot of good matches. No, I could deal with less matches and just, keep things a little bit tighter, trim some time off. I I'm almost certain that my overall ratings and feelings about the show would improve somewhat if the overall lengths of the shows were reduced.
I think so too. Bro, how about 8 matches? How about 9 matches? We don't
Yeah,
need 14. Nine's still a bit much, but if it's a really big show, okay, maybe like I'd say WrestleMania should have like 10 matches. Because WrestleMania once a year. Every other pay-per-view between 7 and 8 matches, depending what type of things are on the show. If there's a Royal Rumble or like a match that's particularly long, like an Iron Man match, maybe you scale it back a little bit. But just every fucking pay-per-view has to be 4 hours. Every pay-per-view is 4 hours, bro. It's too much every fucking time. I know he's got 200 people on the roster, but maybe, I don't know, cut like 60 or 70 of them, get it back to what it was. Again, all out 2021. I think it was 8 matches on the show, maybe 2 matches on the pre-show. Fucking great pay-per-view. He's overcomplicated it, bro.
it's just, yeah, it's just too much. It's just constantly a feeling of, oh, pay-per-view is coming up. It's
I
got to
dread
just
it.
be stacked to the yeah, I dread it. I wake up and it's like, oh, I've got to watch that today. So I just start watching it as soon as I can, because the longer I put it off, the worse the idea becomes.
I was laughing with Jack earlier because I was talking to him about the last two AEW pay-per-views where I think the last time Josh came over and I ended up getting drunk with him, so I didn't do the review with you. I was doing anything to avoid it. And then I think the time before that, I said to you, oh, I'm tired, I was gonna go for a nap, and then I slept way too long, and then we had to do it the next day. I was doing anything I could to get out of it, but I was more prepared today, Juicy Boy.
Yeah, good. Because if I have to sit there and watch it and do a review, you have to sit there and
Yeah,
watch
well,
it and do a
fucking, we
review.
did it, bro, and we did it for nearly 2 hours. So, do you have anything else you want to say to our adoring fans who probably aren't watching this point except for fucking Rooney? Ah!
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in. Let us know in the comments what you thought of AEW Forbidden Door 24. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. We've recently launched our new sister channel, Slam Society Extra,
Yeah, bro, I
which
fucking
is
love it.
of course, a sister channel that we cooked up in order to have a platform for our non-wrestling content. If you like video games, you like sports, you like live events, you like vlogging about general different shenanigans that are going on
Hmm.
in the Slam Society, that is the channel where you can find it. This is our channel for strictly professional wrestling
Yeah, bitch.
going forward. So subscribe and like Slam Society and Slam Society Extra, And we hope that you have enjoyed our in-depth review here. And if anyone that sent those tweets has a problem with what we had to say, try and stop us.
Yeah, it's just you try and stop us, or maybe just leave us alone. We don't want to bother you.
We don't care.
Yeah,
yeah.
We just want to react to your tweets, and you're entitled to your opinion, but
in
we're
fact,
also entitled to say that your opinion sucks.
Yeah. Keep sending them so that we can keep doing bad tweets. Bad tweets.
Send it. All right. Shall we say goodbye to everyone, Juicy Boy?
Yep. Thank you. And we will see you down the
fucking road. I stepped all over you then. Suck shit, bro.
Fuck you.
Hey.